Hello, I'm Debra Wallace, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. And my master's is in human development and family studies, and I love relationships, especially the parent-child relationship. And a lot of people are surprised when I mention that I don't use consequences. I also don't use any punishments. I have two children, and I'll say what I do use. What I do use is assertive communication. I use active listening and problem solving. And I apply that to every single relationship. And fortunately, I have found it works. It works with parenting as well. So I don't have to make up things. I don't have to punish. I find it extraordinary and extremely useful. But always it's hard for me to get, because most people, we've been raised, punishment, what you gotta do. So I get that that's normal, yet it still throws me off because it's so far from what I do. So I'm just gonna give a little example of how I apply this. So a typical scenario with children is they'll leave dishes around the house with food on it. And so what I would do is, as I mentioned, we use assertive communication, problem solving. So when I notice that, I would go to them with a neutral body language and tone as possible. I usually lower so that I'm at eye level or below their eye level, because when you're being corrected, no one likes someone towering over, and so it's already threatening when someone's bigger, taller, and being louder. So I watch my body language, I watch my tone, and I notice the dishes were left in the living room. I don't say, did you leave those dishes, or why did you leave those dishes? I don't start with questioning, because that naturally puts people on defense and will also open the door to lying, which is normal when we're feeling like someone's attacking us. We're going to make up stories. So I just say, I noticed your dishes in the living room. And then I'll say, because most kids they're not trying, I know kids don't have an intent to be mean. Most of the time, that means nothing to them. So then I do cause and effect. Every action we do has a natural consequence to it. So I just share that information. And I say, when we leave dishes out, first I might check and say, do you know what happens when we leave dishes out? Most of the time they don't. And so I'll say, ants or pests, bugs can come, and then we'll have a pest problem. And then we'll have to try to kill the pest, or we might have to call out for more support, and then it's just going to keep happening, and the problem's going to get bigger and bigger. Or when we leave food out on dishes, it makes it harder to clean, because the food is stuck to the plate, and then it takes even more water and more resources and more time to clean the dishes. Now, before, it was my job to do the dishes, and so I would share how that would frustrate me, and that would make my life harder. And because I care about my kids' feelings regularly, they care about how I feel. So I share my feelings. That's part of assertive communication. It's sharing how that makes me feel if I had to do all those things. And they're listening, because I also listen to them. And most of the time, that's all I have to do. I homeschool as well. So I just have to lay out the cause and the effect without judgment, without shaming them, and just being honest. And most of the time, that's it. Now, they're still kids. They're still human. So if this dish scenario keeps happening and I notice it, most of the time I'll say, I'm noticing the dishes piling up again. What's going on? And they'll say they may jump in with a bunch of excuses, because they already know how I feel, and now they know that that's upsetting to me. And so might give some excuses. And you know what? I listen. I'm like, yeah, I get that. You had your friend over, and there was inconvenience to run up the stairs and bring the dishes. I get that. Yeah, I know how that feels, and I label the feelings that I'm hearing, and I acknowledge that, because I know I don't like doing the dishes, so, I get that. So I acknowledge their feelings. I listen to their feelings, and then, after doing that, they feel heard, and then I say, yeah, well, we still have this problem, though. So what are we going to do? And then we brainstorm, and they'll list things, and I might say something that I do. But with brainstorming, it's really, really important not to judge, not to jump in, not to like shut them off, like, no, that's not going to work. Just brainstorm. That's part of problem solving, you know. We've identified the problem, now we're brainstorming. And then I trust my child to pick what they think is going to work for them. And then I let them give it a go. And then if I notice that's not working, I notice the dishes, you know, and you mentioned you were going to try that, how that's going. They talk, we listen, I share, we reflect, we tweak the solution, and we try again. And that's what we do for everything. And it really works. So I guess what I can say, we just apply this strategy to everything. Now, I'm also giving my best case scenario. I'm still human, and so I'll definitely share more videos on, you know, more intense issues when I've lost it, you know, but pretty much what it comes down to is assertive communication, active listening, empathy, problem solving, just applying that, taking the time to slow down, and again, like I mentioned, watching your facial features, your body language, really being present and engaged, and just processing each situation as it comes in a respectful, honest manner. So that's kind of my how-to of how I handle parenting as well. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.